So, wonderful day here at the park. It's just amazing, soaking up all the beauty and answering the question, as usual, what brings vitality in the rich life? Today we're working on the muscle up. I want to bring you an update. We're doing the ABE method. Always be experimenting, ABE. They say always be closing. No, always be experimenting. And we're experimenting now with yogic lifestyle more and more and more. So I just finished doing some sun salutation under these amazing trees. I'm reminded how wonderful it is just to feel nature, to really feel nature. I realized I was going too fast. My thoughts weren't as relaxed as even I went through the teaching of relaxation from Marcus Aurelius. I realized I was racing. I wasn't in the mode of success already and just feeling the beauty, feeling the richness. I was in a different realm of mind, feeling like I have to gain some kind of traction or success with my business, not realizing that's all just in the mind. And so I was listening to Swami Shivananda, and he has a book called Thought Power that we're going to be going over. And I'm realizing to overcome the last little bits of lethargy and the lethargy in my digestion system, I want to update you. I'm using more and more relaxation throughout my day. I'm changing my perspective on what's really happening during the day. I'm able to enjoy nature more. And it's all thanks to meditating more on Marcus Aurelius, Sivananda. And I feel like I'm regaining my strength slowly but surely. And faster and faster and faster, the more I feel my subconscious mind realigning. I'm feeling the simplicity and the beauty of nature and much more pleasant, effective thoughts. So here we are at the park. We're just going to do a few sets. We don't have to go all out. We just did 33 Surya Shaktis. And it's truly wonderful to change your mindset. You can always improve your mindset. You can always improve the type of thoughts, the energy of your thoughts, how kind they are, how peaceful they are. There's all different kinds of thoughts that create your world. I'm realizing more and more, look, all over nature, all over nature. I'm realizing more and more and more. Definitely want to talk more about the thoughts, thought power, the nature of thoughts. We're going to be reading Swami Sivananda, but you can always change your thoughts, and even just by listening to somebody else who has powerful, clear thoughts like Napoleon Hill or Swami Sivananda, any man who has made a profound impact on the world, it transforms your thought life, it transforms your energy, it transforms everything about your social. It's the thing that we should put first. It is the first things first. Let's do some muscle ups. Woohoo! So I haven't done that in quite some time. It feels great. And the temptation was to be, to kind of think, since I went through the sickness, to compare myself to my previous state. And maybe you've done that too. Maybe you've had a period in your life where you were much stronger, more energized, and then you had a down period. And then you're always comparing yourself to the previous. Well, that's been a temptation of mine because I've had so many different times in my life where I've been so much more energized. I've been so much more strong and impactful. So when you're coming back, it's so important, I've realized, to actually just give yourself space and to enjoy it. To just enjoy the progress from yesterday, not at your peak. You can't compare yourself from your peak. And you're still better than you were even at your peak, because you're developing the mind, you're developing the ability to bounce back, the ability to recover. Donald Trump was in debt, love him or hate him, he was in debt $8 billion, and he was able to come back. That deserves respect. Not everybody can bounce back. Just respect the soul inside the person who can come back. That's called taking the meat and spitting out the bones. A lot of people, they get into this mindset where they're just judgmental, but then you're constantly thinking judgmental, that'll bounce back to you. Swami talks about how every thought is a boomerang. You think thoughts of criticism, it comes back to you. You criticize yourself, you receive criticism. But if you see the goodness and the strength and the virtue in other people, that boomerangs back to you too. And so thinking about the power to come back, the power to bounce back, that in itself is weight training. That itself is a strength of power that can be trained. And so, enough talk. I'm going to talk a little bit after this little workout, but I want to bring you guys through a little workout. We'll talk a little bit more afterwards about all the different things that I'm changing in my diet, just that you can follow along if you want and see my progress. And there's a lot of change in doing different yoga for exercise and asanas, I'm experimenting with eating a little bit of ground beef right now, experiments in how I set up my day. I'm going to start socializing more with a Hare Krishna temple right next door, a change in the books that I'm reading, more books from the Swamis. What else? We talk about stress. The stress is going down. Changing sleep schedules, a lot of different changes in my sleep. Nutrition and digestion. We'll talk about changes there. The way I'm exercising. Detox. We gotta talk about detox. Trying different detox for plastics, for chemicals, for mold and parasites. There's so many things that you can detox from, heavy metals. And I'm making it so simple. And then habits. All this fits together. Habits, unconscious stress. The 6 pillars, focusing on the 6 pillars more and more and more. I mean, I'm out here, I'm not in the gym anymore. I'm not just spending time in a stinky gym. It makes a huge difference. Let's do some more muscle ups and pull ups. Love your dog. Okay. So, a good measure of vitality can definitely come through the physical body. You can kind of see it. You can see it on a person's face. You're going to definitely see the healthiness of a person's face change as their vitality increases. You can also see it in their body, A good way to measure it is through how fast, how well they can sprint, how many clapping push-ups they can do. Those are easy ways to determine it physically. But, when you look at somebody, really the way that you see their vitality is through their eyes, is through their voice. You can just sense it. It's very subconscious. It's just primal. You can just intuit it. So the thoughts that a person has nurtured into their subconscious, that spills out in their body, that spills out in their face, that spills out in every aspect of who they are. And so that's how you really can tell, apart from just physical strength. So I really like to do these push-ups. Let me show you my push-up routine. Whew. So we're going to be focusing more on just nurturing overall vitality, doing a little bit less volume, but just putting in the time to increase the thought power and to increase the energy by doing more yoga. So that's an experiment there, because That will overall increase the healing rate of the body, improve the sleep, improve the mind, the mentality. And so instead of just pumping and forcing the body and pushing it like a car, we're upgrading the motors. And so that's going to be an interesting step. Now, going out and using the motor is great. It definitely helps improve the energy in the body, but not depending on it. See, it's just an adjunct, so that's another experiment. You see, the character, who you are, and the thoughts that you have, your subconscious mind, is really what determines your healing, how many hours of sleep that you need, your energy, the strength even in your body. A lot of people who have such powerful characters and minds, they don't even work out. How do they have such strong bodies? You can just see it. The vigor in their body, the vigor in their energy. And so that's what I'm focusing on. You know, I healed so much of my body just through changing my hope, just through changing my perspective, just through changing the kind of thoughts that I'm thinking. You know, am I thinking productive thoughts? Am I channeling my energy towards productivity? Am I thinking about making others smile? Am I thinking about how to produce something that will help other people? You know, getting busy about making the change that you believe in the world. That's a very powerful thought form. If you're recovering, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling nihilistic, purposeless, and I was feeling all of those things. Giving yourself some direction. Swami Sivananda talks about how so many people, they don't even have a purpose in life. They have not even established what they want to accomplish. So they haven't set their sail for any nobleness of character, any mission, anything great that they want to see in other people. They haven't even had an ideal of a character, a hero to worship. You know, I was just listening last night to Tai Lopez talking about the greatest minds of all times. And he was talking about hero worship and how it's a healthy thing to actually have ideals and to worship heroes, the great men of the world who were able to change the course of society. Will Durant has a book called The Greatest Minds of All Time. And in it, he talks about, this is so inspirational to me, he talks about how nowadays people don't even have a life purpose. They don't have ideals to look up to. Why is it so good when somebody has an ideal to look up to, like a Buddhist, any kind of prophet, any kind of Christ-like figure, anybody, a Gandhi, a Martin Luther, a Steve Jobs? You look up to anybody and that's what you imbibe. That's what you get into your character. You get the same qualities. At least honor and worship people who have changed the course of history. So if we're worshiping people who are just good at accomplishing petty little goals like getting more girls or making a little bit more money, is that really going to be the purpose of your life? No. What about men like yogis who have changed the course of the world? What about the great inventors? What about the great patriots who founded countries and governments? What about the great minds who have changed the course of humanity with their great inventions? What about these men? What would our lives be without them? He talks about how the masses of men, 99% of people, they're just the imitators of the innovators. And the only way to become an innovator is to honor it and cherish it and worship it and focus on it. Make that your goal. Make wisdom and understanding your goal. That's what Solomon said. Cherish it more than any riches. Cherish it more than anything because it gives you everything. Jesus said, put the kingdom first. And so if we're striving to make a substantial change, if we're striving to further the mission of great men, then we imbibe those characters. And you don't know when you get born again who you're going to become. If you're going to get a human birth, you don't know. Let's do some pistol squats. You really don't know what you're going to become. So everything that you're investing in this life, it's like you can become an investor for your next life. Sadhguru talks about that. He says, everything that you do in this life is just an investment. It's a stepping stone towards a greater life. It's a stepping stone towards a higher potential in your next life. Don't discount that possibility. A lot of people might say, well, I don't believe in that. Well, don't be so fast to discount it, because nobody can discount it. You don't know. You don't know what happens when this body dies. The universe shows us that everything is constantly recycling. And so the best thing to do is to think according to a philosophy that encourages you to constantly invest in becoming better and better and better. Atheism can't do that, because you just end. There's no higher purpose, there's no higher meaning. But whatever philosophy encourages you to constantly improve, to constantly contribute, to constantly enrich, that's going to give you a more rich life now. These things all go into vitality in your destiny. The thoughts are the real actions, says Swami. Thought is the real action. It's so obvious, right? Thought creates habit. Habit creates character. Character creates destiny. You sow a different character, you reap a different destiny. And so, so many people are so hung up on thinking about health only from the physical realm. They're not thinking about their mind, not understanding that the mind is the dynamo that directs your life. And this is something that I'm teaching myself. You teach yourself to have stronger thoughts, more calm thoughts, relaxed thoughts. You honor thoughts. So we're going to split the workout into a couple different phases. Probably do a little bit more later, but right now we'll just get in some volume. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It feels so good. I'm already feeling stronger. Already feeling stronger. So we'll just do 3 to 5 sets of everything. Whew. Try to only rest like 30 seconds to a minute in between, but I gotta say, I do love speaking about these things that are really helping my vitality and it's really helping my body bounce back from whatever happened to it. It's really amazing. So you guys, my goal, I always remind myself in the morning, according to my own temperament and my own strengths, I know that I'm supposed to be a yogi. I know that I'm supposed to teach this yogi lifestyle. I know I'm supposed to teach asanas and hatha yoga. So going to India with Sadhguru's hatha yoga teacher training is going to be the next course that I set my sails towards. But not before I take a small internship on a farm. I also know that that's part of my destiny. We gotta keep this tripod open because we're gonna keep on using it. Back to legs. I like to alternate back and forth. Legs and then upper, legs and then upper. We'll do sprints and jumping later. Maybe we'll even do that on a different day. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Whew, that's good. It's good. It makes you strong, Wittgenstein. No idea what that means. So we're going to be traveling after the farm internship with Joel Salatin. Still got to apply for that. We're going to travel around the United States for a month and just see all the national parks. How amazing is that? Before I'm shoving off to India for 6 months, we gotta soak up a little bit more of the USA before I travel to South America. We're gonna be traveling to ABC, Argentina, Brazil, and Colombia. Chile too, probably. My grandpa has a farm there. And so there's a lot going on. And so that's only after this year though, because this year for me, I have a lease here in Miami. But in between that, as we build out the YouTube channel and hang out with the monks, the Hare Krishna monks here, I'm going to get some footage of that, how they live a pure life, a sattvic life, pure thoughts, pure food, pure singing. You know, we go to the park and we bring the harmonium. I want to start learning the harmonium. We sing, we do charity, we give out books, we hold spiritual discourse on the Bhagavad Gita. See, this is the stuff that I know I was made to do. And so knowing your purpose is so important. You know, not trying to live up to anybody else's standards or their destiny or their strengths, knowing your own strengths. These things are my strengths. These things are what bring magnificent energy. These are my true friends. You know, I recently stopped going to Christian churches more because a lot of times they're so closed-minded in their beliefs and judgments that if they know that you do any kind of yoga, or if you look up to or venerate any yogi or any sage, or if you hold all religions to be equal, or at least helpful and valid, then they have this this rejecting mindset towards you. And so that builds a barrier, and I can't be authentic with those people at this level right now. It's not the people that really on the same wavelength. So I realize that, so I'm hanging out more with the yogis and the Hare Krishnas. Not that I have a problem with the Christians, it's just to build intimate, deep friendships, you have to know who really meshes with you, who has the same outlook, the same beliefs, the same mission. And people who are closed-minded and think that their way is the only way, that actually doesn't help people. That doesn't help people at all. Let's do more. All right. That does feel good. So there's another change right there. Social group, getting aligned. You know, I would even just have debates and disagreements with the Christians, and I just realized it's kind of a waste of energy. So I'm excited to get back with the Hare Krishnas. I mean, it's just so beautiful. The singing, realizing how energizing and purifying it is, how uplifting it is. Those are different thoughts. Whenever you have thoughts of ultimate benevolence, when your heart opens up, when you feel different energy in your throat, I hope you have that experience. I hope you know what I'm talking about. When you're singing, when you're worshiping, it completely bathes you in a different consciousness. To have that when we do kirtan, when we play the harmonium, and when we chant the names of the holy sages, it completely changes your entire physiology. It's so monumentally healing. This is why I attribute a lot of my healing from the long COVID, the mold, the chronic fatigue, the vaccine injury, is getting back into these holy states of consciousness. Even if it only lasts 1 minute, 10 minutes, an hour, it does transform your energy and it transforms your body. Even that little dose, it's like a little dose of medicine. Undeniable, absolutely powerful. Let's do more push-ups. Whew, that's good stuff. We're gonna wrap this up soon. Finish off with some dips. Probably do 2 or 3 sets of 20. It's always good to not tire yourself out. You know, you quit while you still have some left in the tank. That's not a common sentiment. But you look at the old-time strongmen, they do more frequent practice than actually intense practice. It's really popular now in America to do Arnold Schwarzenegger workouts. Just sets and reps. Burn yourself to the ground. Well, that's actually not the best way to build unless if you're on steroids. If you're on steroids, you can handle that. For most people, doing more frequent strength sessions will build tremendous vitality and vigor. Now, if you're trying to build muscle, you have to do a certain amount of work, for sure. Volume is king. But strength is actually just as important as volume when building muscle. So you want to build both. That's why I encourage you do strength workouts, but you also do volume workouts. And you do some light workouts too. Make sure you do some light workouts where you're just using body weight, rejuvenating yourself, getting out in nature, doing athletic stuff so that you're not just a block. You're not just like the swamp from Mario, who just like goes around super slow, can hardly even jump, takes forever to get back up. You don't want to be like that if you want vitality. If you want that charismatic physique. So do one more set, some pull-ups here. And I really support the idea of doing multiple workouts a day. You don't have to burn yourself out all at once. It's good to keep a little bit in the tank. You don't gotta kill yourself. You want to be just enough stimulus to give you the maximum results. After that, it's diminishing returns. Dave Asprey is talking about this a lot. To really gain strength and fitness, you only need a very small stimulus, but it has to be intense. So you focus, you give yourself the intense stimulus, and then you relax. So that's why I'm gonna do some meditation after this. You know, I can see how much time I spent here with you, 30 minutes almost coming up. So we're gonna end this workout soon, and we're gonna go home and we're gonna meditate. So let me actually wrap this up here. I'll grab you when I'm skating home.